Welcome to Grief and Gratitude Podcast. We're your hosts, Mandy and Crystal.
This is a space for honest conversations about loss, healing, and everything in between. Each week, we share stories, perspectives, and moments that remind us that even in the hardest seasons, gratitude can still exist. Thank you for sharing space with us. We're really glad you're here. Hey everyone, welcome back to Grief and Gratitude. It's Mandy. I'm here with my co-host Crystal.
Hi everyone. We are excited to invite our guest Irene. She is an inspirational and motivational speaker. She is someone who works to keep people going. She encourages people not to give up, and she's here to share with us her story of her father. Irene, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored finally to be here with both of you.
Yes. Yeah. So please get started. Tell us a little bit about your father and help us understand your father to you. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much. He's a one special man that I miss dearly every single day. And, I have to go back to the journey of coming to America in 1979 when we left former Soviet Union. That's where I was born and the journey of my relationship with my father began. I remember, oh, sorry. Yeah, I just began and I'm already ready to cry because he was such a amazing man. And getting ready to talk about him on this platform brought a lot of memories. Remembering him taking me to a soccer game we called football and sitting next to him and watching this game. They had no clue what was happening except this ball is being pushed from one side to another, and just like spending a quality of time and remembering going for ice cream. And we have this like root beer drink, but it's like it's bringing me such beautiful memories. It's in this big huge container that it stands in the middle of the street, and it's like a community cup. I know it sounds disgusting, but that's how it was. It's literally a community cup. You kind of rinse it in this water and you go, and it's like 5 cents and you drink. And that's like my earliest memory doing things with him. He was always full of joy and happiness and lifts our spirit. And, when you're small, you don't understand who your father is until you get older and see the power that he had and the humanity he had. Growing up in Russia was not easy and times were tough, but we always had everything that we needed. He was an amazing provider, a role model. And I understood that blessing that he gave me a little later in life. So, 1979, we starting to immigrate to America. And again, a young child does not understand who your father is until you do. And I remember we were standing in Poland, and there's a train and a lot of stuff going on. And, you have like 5 minutes to get on, and otherwise you're stuck again for 3 days. And I hear my father's name being called from every direction, grabbing the suitcase, and they're all screaming, come Gregory, come Gregory. I remember when you did this thing for me, and I remember when you did this thing for me. We're so grateful to you. We're going to help you get your family on this train. And so, it was very touchy. I didn't understand, but I felt very safe in a very chaotic atmosphere. And then coming to America, 1979, was all about community. It's all about helping. Like he had knew 3 English words. None of us spoke English. And he created a community everywhere we went, and supported people that he didn't know. And he installed in us that community is everything. And if you have $1 and somebody doesn't, you give them 50 cents or whatever they need. If you have one slice of bread, you cut it in half and you give it. And he didn't just talk. He did the walk. He showed us like our home was heaven for others. The community was everything. And he installed that in us. And there was one beautiful moment where I was going to a pharmacy with my granddaughter, and we walked in, and the owners heard me speak, so they thought it was my mother. And they're running out, like literally like crazy people, like who's going to be first, pushing each other aside, going, "Are you Gregory's daughter? Are you Gregory's daughter?" I'm like, well, I don't know. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? You never know. And she's like, you don't understand what your father and your mother did for us. We came to this country. We did have relatives that spoke beautiful English, but they never had time for us. But somebody gave your phone number to us, a stranger from a stranger, and said, you call Gregory and he will take care of you. And it was such a beautiful moment to hear that before he died, right? Like, it's great, it's, oh, sorry. It's lovely to know that when your person passes away and they're coming to the cemetery and they sharing all these beautiful moments. But when he's alive, it meant even more. And I came back and I said, Dad, this is what happened. And he was so humbled. He was so humbled. And that's what kind of man he was. Full of gratitude. And he always felt so full, like, and he sometimes was so empty. Like, he worked since he was 12 years old. He left his house at 16, faked his documents to get into the army. He basically was on his own, but he showed so much love and kindness to others when, as we understood, not a lot of kindness was shown to him. So to lose him, it was like my heart was, ripped apart. I miss him tremendously. He was my true inspiration and motivation, and a wall that I could stand and lean on. Even when he didn't understand what I was doing, it made no sense to him. He always said, Irene, you can do it. And his famous words was, "Все будет хорошо." Everything is going to be okay. He always said that no matter what, like the ceiling could be on fire, and he go, don't worry, all is going to be okay. We actually put that on his tombstone because it was so him. And random times people would like, I know he's following me. I know he's guiding me. Would come up strangers. It would say, oh, don't worry. All's going to be okay. And I'm like, oh my God, what the hell? I believe that he he's like my guardian from the above. And, and, the relationship that I had with him was very precious. He taught me a lot, even though he only finished 8th grade. He was a wizard. He was so smart, and didn't realize until he was end of his life that he couldn't even read or write, but he can speak to you about anything. And the resilience of him and how he learned is very powerful. If you came here as a child, he could have been so much more, but he was more than he thought he was. And that's empty space never goes away. Every Tuesday I remember him because he used to take me to the bank. We would go to McDonald's and we have our breakfast, and he would order that big McDonald's breakfast and share it with my mom. And I was already vegetarian, and he would make fun of me. Go ahead, have this sausage. And I was like, I don't need meat, Father. And he would go, okay, okay, go get your grass. And, I was a prophet, it wasn't grass, but, those little jokes, he was such a character. And I remember him, if I didn't speak to him for 24 hours, he was like, Irene, I forgot how you look. Where are you? Come, let's have a shot of vodka. And when I used to eat meat, he would say, I make you beautiful steak with shot of vodka and mashed potatoes. So, those little moments, it's missed. And, but, the value was that, laughter is medicine, even when you're sad. Like he never given up. And the doctors would always tell us, your father is a riot. The only reason he's living still is because he has such a good attitude in such a dire moment. And I pulled on that in my own dark moments, and I've had many of them. And he was there. He was there. He never judged me. He just loved me. I was there when he took his last breath. I was there in between the last breath. I took care of him. It was hard because everything he ended up being, he said he never wanted to be bedridden, not able to take care of himself. I had to take him to the bathroom, something that he hated. And I used to say, I'm not your daughter right now. I'm a nurse. So I can go buy the little uniform and if it makes you feel better. And he's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Went on his tantrum, like, stop, stop, stop. And he would go, I'm sorry you have to do this. I'm sorry you have to do this. I said, what are you sorry? You're my father. I'm honored that I'm able to take care of you. I'm honored that we can spend this time together. Like, I was like, share your wisdom, share your journey, share like what you want me to know. And just, he always said, be kind, be kind, be grateful. It's not how much you have, it's what you have. It's not how big of your circle is. It's that beautiful few friends that you can call in the middle of the night, that say, I'm there for you. So it's a missing piece in my life that right now that I need. And he's not here in physical form, but I know he's here with me in a spiritual form. When I miss him like this, as I was getting ready to speak to you ladies, I saw his van, a white van, pass like hundreds of times in the last week or so. And it was so powerful because I know I was going to be speaking to you. And he's like, Irene, it's going to be okay. Just go for it. Just go for it. And don't cry too much. He always hated when I cry. He said, laughter is the key. Laughter. He was the party of the party. He walked into the restaurant and he was the first on the floor and he was the last to leave. And he used to say, well, you come here, have a shot of vodka and let's dance. It's always shot of vodka with him. It was always a shot of vodka. And, I honor him sometimes with that shot of vodka and it makes me feel really, really good, and I was, like I said, I was there till the end. I spent the last 48 hours in the hospital with him. I saw him take his last breath. It wasn't easy, but this man suffered so much, such a gentle giant, went through so much pain the last 2 years of his life. And even in that moment, he's like, I don't wish this on anyone. I don't wish this. Like, he had no enemies, but like he would say, I got this. I can handle it. And, it was so weird to hear that because I always said the same thing without even realizing I got this. I can handle it. I don't wish this for anyone else. I'm strong. And he used to say, I'm strong. All is going to be okay. I got this. I'm not ready to go. I have 9 lives. That was like our last conversation. And when he went, I released such a huge cry, but it wasn't because he was gone. It's because he was no longer in pain. It gave me so much peace to know that he's somewhere in heaven, dancing and having his shot of vodka. And it gave me so much peace. And every time I feel not sad, but that feeling of emptiness, I'm like, I don't wish him to be here as he was, in pain, bedridden, not a life of the party, not dancing, not doing. It's not what I want. And I cannot have him back how he was, prior to it. So I wouldn't change anything. People constantly ask me, oh, do you wish your father was here? Of course, but not like how he lived. And a couple of days later, when, everything settled down after the funeral, it's like, how am I going to honor this man that gave me so much love, so much support, such unconditional love? Did we argue? Did we not agree on everything? Yeah. Did he tell me don't do it? And I did it anyway. And he supported me fighting, like a fighting match. But he said, okay, go ahead and learn. Like, even if he didn't agree with me, do I miss that? Yeah. That support that is, I don't know. My mother definitely is not like that. But my father was. He was my savior. And I didn't know how I was going to honor him. I know he didn't want me to sit there and cry, but how do you not cry for someone that you love with all your heart, and your teacher, your guardian, your protector, a person that consistently says to you, don't worry, all's going to be okay, is no longer here? How do you honor that gift that he gives you of humanity when he wasn't given? I didn't know what to do. So I sat there and I said, I want to celebrate his life. I don't want to mourn him. And I want to do everything that he didn't finish doing. So, I'm spiritually Jewish, not, that's how, culturally or wherever. And we have this thing that we do. It's 7 days of Shiva. You kind of sit there, you cover the mirrors, people come to your house, they bring you food, and you sit there and mourn for 7 days. You pour your heart out, and you let go of that heaviness of the missing loved one. But I said, oh, that sounds good. And after 7 days you can go. But I said, that wasn't enough. I also want to celebrate his life, not just cry about him, because I've never seen him cry. I've always seen him in laughter and joy. And I said, it will not be fear for him or me and his legacy just to mourn over him, because that's not who he was. He was full of life and loved music and loved people and loved celebrating. So I came up with this 14-day challenge for myself, and I did it openly because I needed that support from others. And I said, well, as I heal, maybe I can help someone else heal. I know you can't see it, but I took a little, like a mason jar, and I said, for 7 days, I'm going to sit quietly and I'm going to write down all the painful feelings that I have of missing him, losing him, how it makes me feel. And I would put that into the jar, and that would be like my little funeral for me, myself, and my dad. So I did it for 7 days. I wrote everything down, and I did it very publicly because, of course, I want to support others. And I knew that a few other people lost their loved ones simultaneously as my father. So I said, maybe it will help them grieve in this unorthodox way. And we don't speak enough about grieving, and we don't even give ourselves permission to grieve. Sometimes they feel because they feel judged, or you are crying too much, or you're already smiling, you're already doing this. And I wanted to show you can do it any way you want it. And there's no right or wrong way. It's whatever works for you. So I kind of incorporated this thought process for myself and others. And then for the next 7 days, I literally danced my butt off on every platform you could imagine. And I took this jar and I put all the beautiful memories. I showed the most craziest pictures of him with the hat, and he had this Russian hat and a bottle of vodka. And I, just posted some beautiful pictures of him, of his joy, of how he's a clown. And, I had that shot of vodka. I made a video. I'm celebrating my dad for 14 days. And it was such an incredible 14 days, not just for me, but hundreds of other people messaged me. Strangers said, thank you for giving me permission to find joy in my sadness. Thank you for allowing me to mourn my child or my father or my sister or your friend, and figure it out how to honor them, not just in sadness, but also in joy. And it touched my heart. It helped me heal more. And it's exactly what my father would do, help others and to heal, to support, to move forward. Like it was better than I even imagined. This 14 days changed my life and many other people. And I was so honored that people um, shared that with me and the memories of their loved ones. So yeah, I grieved my father in a very unorthodox way, but I felt like I let him go, but I also celebrated him to the fullest of how he would be wanted to be celebrated, not in tears, but in joy. And like he would say, everything's going to be okay. And he's okay. And I am okay. And I am better than okay because I take the wisdom from him and I put it forward. Now I am building a community of support that I can support and support me. I can pay it forward for someone that is bilingual, speaks funny, but still shows up. So he installed all of that for me. He got thrown out of a English class because he was such a joker. They made fun of the English language and words, and people would just laugh, and he would turn it into this like little stupid Russian jokes with English words, and it was a riot. He's like, I wasn't a good student then, and I'm definitely not a good student now. But yeah. So here we are. I'll be 5 years in January. I miss him every day. And thank you for letting me share a little bit of my father with you. And hopefully my story will help others to celebrate their loved ones in, I guess, maybe the most unorthodox way to grieve our loved ones. And it's okay. It's okay. Give yourself permission to do it any way that moves you.
Irene, thank you so much for explaining your dad to us. Can you tell me his first name or what did he go by?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gregory.
Gregory.
He sounds like someone we would want to hang out with.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
We like to dance. We like to drink vodka.
Can do it all. Can I ask about your father? Because
Sure.
it sounds like he absolutely passed down to you the idea of giving, right? And giving equally. If I have $1, you get half, right? Like this sharing and community to the core of who you are, right? Not just for the look of it, but that was him to his core.
Yes.
In his final years, you expressed how hard it was for him not to be the caretaker because you had to be the caretaker. Were you and your father able to prepare you for him not being here physically? Would you talk about life without him, or what did those conversations look like in the last year or so?
For him, it was very weird. We didn't talk about none of that, but mentally, I prepared myself for it, right? I had to mourn him before he even left me, and understand that he's going to go. And yes, I'm going to miss him, but he's going to be with me because I believe, the body dies, but the spirit stays with you. And that gave me peace. And even bigger, you know, moment for me. There was period of time when my father was in so much pain that I actually stopped praying for him to be here. I actually started praying for him to go because I could not see him wither and not have that sparkle in his eyes and not being funny, not making jokes. I did not want to remember him, sad and bitter, right? Like he was never bitter, but like, he's never asked why me. But by the time, It's like he just wanted to go. Like, why am I being tortured? That was his way of kind of preparing me. I'm ready, even though he was never ready. 5 minutes, maybe had that conversation. I'm done. And then he said, no, 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 I have 9 lives. So he really didn't want to die, but he knew the end is coming because he loved life. He loved life.
Do you think that, well, you said you practiced Shiva and then was it 7 days or 14
7.
days?
Yeah, 7 days and then 7 days of joy.
And then 7 days of joy. Do you think that you just said that you mourned him while he was dying? Do you think that helped you see gratitude earlier after he passed because you had
Well,
already started mourning him?
so it made it easier, right? It made it easier to get through that transition. It's still very hard, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the way it's so hard to explain because I didn't wish him dead. I didn't wish him dead, but I couldn't find peace for him. Couldn't find healing from him. I did not want my father to suffer. So I mourned in a sense of take him so he's no longer suffering. And that's sort of a more of a spiritual way than like, I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss you. But I just want him not to be in pain anymore. And the gratitude came from when God took him. Again, it sounds so bizarre, but my gratitude was he's no longer in pain. I miss him dearly, but he's no longer suffering. He felt so belittled when I had to take him to the bathroom, or I had to help him put off his clothes on, his pants, his undies, right? Like that was below him. Like that he wanted to die at those moments more than he ever. Uh, he did not want his children doing that for him. That was his worst nightmare. So gratitude came from take him in that prayer. Don't let him suffer and don't let him feel like he's less than. He felt less than.
And when you talk about him, moving on, how do you feel him each day? Does it look different? Does it feel different? You mentioned the van
Yeah.
leading up. It's like, what's that look like for you each day?
Yeah. So each day, again, there's a song that may come up. English or Russian. I listen to, both radios. He hangs right at the area that I work. So see his smiling face all the time. And, so that's kind of how he comes along as well. Sometimes I can't explain is the smell. I can't explain the smell, but there's certain smells that trigger, memories. Like, if I go by, there's a little burger place that sometimes we would go and I would do my veggie burger and he would get his burger, so I can smell that and reminds me of him and how he made fun of me. You're not eating a burger. He always goes, you eat grass. But I say, great. So, things like that, right? Like things like that. And sometimes lately I've been seeing butterflies and I know it's a new beginning, like rebirth for me. And I don't know, it reminds me of my dad as well. It's every day is different, but that, the Astor van is very, solidified message because that's what he drove for over 20 years. And then sometimes I don't see him at all, them at all. And then sometimes I see more than others. And he's like saying to me, okay, pivot. It's a message. And then I have to look inside myself. What is the message?
Can you tell me a little bit about the jar you talked about putting
Yes.
things
And on what platform? Because you mentioned others reaching out to you and saying how you supported them. How did you show this to others?
but
So I
also
did.
to continue to put things in it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did it for 14 days. But yes, listen, that was my journey, right? So I did it on Facebook and I shared it on Instagram. It's all on YouTube. You can see every single day there. At that time when I was doing it, I wasn't so organized. So they're probably like random. I should have like a series, but who was thinking about that? Now I understand that. But I did it on Facebook every single day. You can actually, people can go back and look. It was every single day. Every single day I did a video, I did a post, I did a visual post, and I encourage others to do the same thing. So they reach out to me on Facebook or whatever they saw, wherever the platform they saw, but mainly at that time, it was Facebook.
And why 14 days? Was it the 7 for 7? Like, where
I
did this
have no,
idea come from?
I don't know. Yeah, it was like 7 for 7. So I said, the 7 days of mourning, and then I did, 7 days of joy. Just kind of it came to me. There's no rhyme or reason. I thought, if you're mourning for 7 days, you at least need to be joyful for 7 days. But I also encourage people to continue doing whatever days it takes you. But there has to be a point, because again, um, people that connected me been mourning for 20 years. Like they were stuck. And I get it. They were stuck. And I gave them permission to leave that and find the joy and honor the loved ones. So you have to have a starting point and ending point. At least that's how I saw for myself, to be able to move on with life in the most comfortable way. You're never comfortable. Like my father never leaves me. The pain is there, but I've learned how to use it as a charging stone and remember what my father stood for: community, helping, supporting others. Do it because it's the right thing, not because you're waiting for some applause, a word. Do it, well, like no one is watching. So things like that. So I wanted people to, for me first, of course, that certain amount of time to do each thing and not sit in it, right? Yeah, sin, enjoy, but take that mourning, take that pain and turn it into something more powerful as helping others and you mourn in your unique way. That's kind of how I saw.
What would you say someone did for you during your time of grief when it was hard, when you felt closed off? Did someone say or do something for you remember that made a difference?
Yes, of course, absolutely. I have the most incredible customers. Hairdresser. And they came to the house, brought food, sent flowers, honored my father with like a tree, did did all kinds of beautiful things, donated money for heart disease. And that touched my heart tremendously. And I had a pretty new client at the time, and she sent like 3 days of food to my house, ready to go meals. It was so beautiful. I was so grateful. It made me feel very special. So hard for me to take it, but I did it in honor of my father, and it was beautiful. And of course, all the messages, all the love, came my way. It was great.
Can I ask, when you were sharing on Facebook and Instagram, did anyone ever reach out and say anything where you felt like, I don't know what to do, or I don't know how to help this person?
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's so hard, especially when it has to do with children. Losing a father is one thing, but when parents text me, said, I lost my child 15 years ago. I lost my child. I'm so sad. What do you say to that? And I'm like, I'm so sorry for your loss. And then I said, how was your child? Tell me about your child. And one lady said that her child wanted to travel and she didn't have a chance to do it, a car accident. And I said, what country did your child wanted to go? And she gave me some countries. And I said, something, go for your child. Go do it. And then maybe you'll feel like she's with you by doing an act that she couldn't do it. And my father actually had a dream to go to Hawaii and never did it. And that was one of the things that I remember, that we will honor that for him eventually. And that, I don't put anything in the back burner. I go. Like, I don't say no a lot anymore. And then, then another lady said that her child was killed by a drunk driver. She didn't know how to go past that. I said, well, maybe you open a chapter under your son's name, create some sort of a nonprofit organization that you still have a purpose. And, you're doing it in the name of your child, that his memory always will live on, or create a support group. So that's kind of how I helped them move. And they're like, yes, yes. Like they understood that, to put their pain into a purpose. But that wasn't easy to discuss. Parents, we can, we understand. Parents die. But when young children die, it's very painful. It's very painful. I mean, I had a miscarriage. That was a death to me too. And I sat there and I mourned it, and it was very extremely painful. Never held the child, but I felt it in my soul and my heart. It was a child. And I had to mourn that as well. So I could relate to some degree. I mean, definitely not, but you know what I'm saying. It was painful. It was very, very painful. So, I mean, I pulled on that sadness for myself to help them through theirs. I mean, I'm just a person, not a counselor or anything. Just, a woman on a mission to help others heal themselves in their own special way.
So you said these people reach out to you. Do you do support groups, or people just reach out to you individually?
So at that time, it was just people reaching out to me individually. I was invited to a grieving group by a grieving counselor. She thought it was the way I grieved. She just saw my videos on Facebook. And she thought that was such a cool way. And she was so fascinated. So I went into her group and shared how I grieved my father, to give a different perspective. We are told we can't find joy in our sadness, but we have to sit there and just mourn. And it's such a heavy, heavy feeling. And it is. But I also felt that we need to make sure that we don't just mourn them, we celebrate them. And whatever that means to you, each individual person, we have learned, had a life, had an energy, had its own spirit, right? Had it in all unique way. And we forget that. We don't honor that. We're only, I knew my father didn't want us to sit there and honor his pain. He wanted us to honor the way he lived. And that's what my whole thing was: honor the people that you have lost, not in their pain, but in their joy.
Do you believe, do you live differently now that he's gone? Does life look different for you, whether it be, you said you don't say no very often, but also how's life different without him here with you?
Well, so yes, I try to be even more intentional. I live an intentional life. I don't take too many things for granted, but after he passed away, even more so, like I shared with you that Hawaii trip, he never took it. And I made a mental note, tomorrow is not promised. And I had to remember through my own life, my car accident. I never thought I could walk without pain, and I stopped traveling. Tomorrow is not promised. And him not being able to do that trip that he wanted to made me realize that I have to do everything that is on my bucket list even more. So I went to Morocco. I went back to Spain. I traveled. I went to England again. I went to Scotland. That was in one of my bucket lists. So I stepped it up. I was like, sure, there's never going to be enough money. Sure, there's never enough time or the right time. Just go for it and get it done. So yes, I am much more intentional, because health is wealth. And while you have it, go for it. And he didn't have it. He had a heart attack. He was waiting for retirement. And instead of Hawaii, he had a heart attack. So yes, I don't take anything for granted on a whole other level. And I'm saying, yes, this scares me. Like public speaking scares me. Like I would rather have a root canal, but I have a message, right? Being bullied as a young child, English is my second language. And, and I have to remember my father used present and past sentence every single day, but he got the message across. He was right there going to whatever he needed to do, to whatever public place he needed to help anyone to get their lights on or get their driver's license. He did it. So, and that that's part of it that keeps me going. All of those things. I'm so grateful that he didn't shrink. Even though he didn't speak perfectly, he rise to the occasion and shine bright. He said, I speak enough for them to understand. So yeah.
So
Yeah.
you feel he gave you a purpose to promote positivity?
Yes, consistently. He consistently did it by all of those examples. When he passed away and when people came to the funeral home, all the beautiful things we didn't know about them. He never bragged. He never said, I did this and this. These people came to us and said, your father gave me his last $10. I was stuck. Could my car broke down and I saw him. He said, here's $10 and I got the little thing, and filled it up. So it was beautiful. It's beautiful. So I carry that. That's his legacy. People ask me, what's legacy for you? My first thing is my legacy is kindness. I want people to remember that I said what I did and I did it, and that's what I do. Now it's not going to be millions of dollars. That's not going to be my legacy. It's going to be 2 broken plates and a kindness. And community, right? And community. Like I told my daughter, she knows, and it's interesting, the other part of grieving is being ready for that, preparing your family. So I already purchased all of my last, at the end of life, I got my cremation done. Everything is paid for. And I think that's another conversation that we don't have. We don't prepare like, oh, tomorrow, but tomorrow comes and then your children, like I felt like my children is not responsible to make those decisions. So I took care of all of it. My daughters know exactly what I need to do. And, I'm going to be cremated, spread me whatever. And it's a funny conversation. It's not a funny conversation, but I made light of it because when I did it, my children were kind of young. So I you know, did that for them. And maybe this is off subject, but I think it's so important because while you're grieving your loved ones, you have to also make decisions how to bury them. And then on top of it, financially, if you don't have it, then the child is stuck doing it. And so when I went into the, funeral home and I was purchasing and the woman goes to me, so what kind of Earl you want? Are you sure you don't want to be buried with your mom and your dad because we purchased all this? I said, no, absolutely not. That is not for me. I said, first of all, I am can't even pronounce the word claustrophobic. And she thought, it's like, what did you say? It's like, I'm claustrophobic. I said, I don't want to be in a casket. And she didn't know what to do with me. I said, oh, so do you want to look at the urine? Oh, am I saying it correctly? And I said, don't worry. My daughter will just bring a Ziploc bag. You just so even then, I was trying to find humor in this difficult moment. I think we don't have that enough. It's I know we have to cry. I know we have to mourn, but I just wish it was a little bit easy on the heart. And I know it's out of the box. I know it's unorthodox to do it the way I did it, but it's not as heavy. The whole process of death is already so heavy that I hope, I don't know, I did it with a little bit of sense of humor. And so, yeah, we're crazy like that. My mother wanted this, like a Versace, $20,000 casket. I said, why do you need that? She said, well, when people come, I was like, you don't know, they might be all dead. It'll be me standing in front. So, and she looked at me like, what? I said, yeah, who are you doing this? Not for herself, but for others. I said, can you leave me a little bit of money? Don't spend it all. We just had a blast. I know, again, I'm unorthodox. I walk to my own beat of the drum. I think out of the box. And why not here, right? Like that is heavy subject. And why should we not bring a little bit of light and joy in our pain? That's kind of how I feel it. With a little bit, let's bury our loved ones with a little bit of sense of humor. I told my daughter, I want to party, bring some tequila, vodka, and salsa dancing. Let's go.
It's Irene, that is beautiful. And it sounds like you got a lot of your dad's qualities, right? He always had the humor. He always made light, always spread kindness, and that is instilled in you. And
yes,
on top of that, you've learned things that you want to support and protect your daughters, right? So if the day comes you that you have planted some seeds to make the burden of death less hard on them,
Yes.
right? And with
Yes.
humor, you
Yes.
did all of the things. You're absolutely right. I think at services or funerals, we have to remember no one's going to think, oh gosh, I remember Irene, she had a little stage fright. No one's going to think that. People are going to be remembering how kind you were, how motivational you were, how inspiring you were. That's to the core of who we are. And
Yeah.
you've really done all of the things and you've pushed yourself to help others.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I hope that's what they remember. Yeah, it's all of that. It's all of that humanity, and we've lost a little bit of it, right? And when I think of that, I think of my father. He was the epitome of it, because it's the right thing to do, not because he was waiting for anything in return. And at least for me, that's what he's installed. And I hope I can give a little bit of joy and happiness, especially in the difficult moments, to others. And that's my purpose. Every day I get up in the morning and I do my best to put a smile on someone else's face and carry his legacy of community.
Well, I love your positivity and
Thank
your energy. Um,
you.
we're getting close to the end, and I just want to make sure that you share with us how others can reach you or find you. You said people reach out to you on Facebook and Instagram, and I don't know what platform or how people reach out to you, but is there a way for people to reach out to you?
Yes, absolutely. I'm pretty much on every platform, from TikTok to LinkedIn to Lemonade to Scroll Up. What else? Oh my God, I can't even think of it. Sky Blue, I don't know what I'm doing there. um, I'm also on Substack. There are two, so I can't even pronounce half of them. But yeah, Facebook is probably the most easiest. I'm also on WhatsApp. I mean, everywhere. Put my name into Google search and you'll see many different platforms that I am on. YouTube as well. But I think the easiest communication is also on Threads. You can find me there too. But Facebook and Instagram is probably the most easiest, convenience. Everybody's on them.
Well, we'll put the links in the show notes for people to
Thank you.
be able to find you. Yeah. And again, it was wonderful. I think you're a wonderful person. I love your energy, your positivity, what you are trying to do for other people. I don't know if there's anything.
Yeah, Irene, you exude joy and inspiration. And
Thank you.
I mean, I want to dance and have a shot of tequila and maybe a shot of
Let's
vodka. I don't know
Let's
how we're
go.
going to spend
I
night.
love that.
I
I love that.
can
We might have to do that tonight for you.
for
Thank
you
you.
and Gregory, and thank you for speaking of him and the relationship you had and inspiring others to push through even when it is hard, when we lose someone we love. So Irene, thank you so much. And we will be in touch and we'll have your show up soon.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you
Thank
both.
you. Bye.
Bye, Irene.
Bye.
Consider being a supporter of the show by downloading episodes, subscribing to the podcast, or clicking the support link in the show notes. You can also leave a 5-star review wherever you listen. If you would like to share your story, please message the Facebook or Instagram page. You can also email griefandgratitudepodcast@gmail.com. Tune in next Monday for an all-new episode. This podcast was created to honor the memory of Declan Shaw ONeil and Jennifer Lynn Berry.